most of the deaths predicted. Here we go. North Texas, Missouri Science and Tech. Last match of night 1 of our final week of league play. And again, so much on the line for North Texas to try and stay up at the top in the West. All these other teams, especially like LSU, nipping at their heels. Still plenty of matches behind. But North Texas could put a big dent in the comeback efforts of a lot of teams up in the West.
You know, I think that
Bernie! Okay, here we go.
Look at this. He finds this angle. He had a lot of time on the shot, though, as well. And you can see the backflips in unison for UNT as Bernie flips it right past him.
Synchronized soccer, new esport coming to a campus near you. Lucia up to the ceiling and easily set away by the defense of MS&T. Now D-Bank to center for Too Fast, and Bernie got there for the save, making sure Too Fast could not get a shot off. He's also up to stop Too Fast there as well. Hey, all eyes on Bernie on either half of the field. As he goes, so too do the Miners. That's pushed aside by Sugar. Time is there as well. You look at this Missouri S&T squad. I mean, they've come up with a couple surprising results throughout the season. The improvement has been there. It's just not quite where they want to be as a whole unit. And this is ugly in front of their net. Too Fast can't circle around for a shot, though, and the Miners get away with one.
Okay, Miners so far doing a good job of just making sure they can, maintain North Texas for the moment, but still need to see some more signs of light on offense for them. Meanwhile, UNT, a bit of struggle here, and it does get me a little worried as we have seen North Texas struggle in some series in terms of uncharacteristic plays. That's a word of the day, by the way, if you've been watching any Rocket League today. Have not seen necessarily North Texas getting too involved, but that's a solid redirect from Lucia, just barely off target.
Lucia pushes that to the side, and a little miscommunication with Too Fast, but in almost every case, Too Fast has priority. And now at midfield, it's another chance for Lucia. Over to Too Fast this time. Needs a second touch. It just could not get to the left of the ball. And that's going to keep North Texas off the board for the moment, as Too Fast will collect in midfield again. Communication a little better out of UNT, but Too Fast left the ball behind this time. But even that's enough to kind of throw off the Missouri defense. You expect Too Fast to make that play every time, and Bernie makes the save with Lucia harassing him on the goal line.
Ooh, D-Banks looking middle there, and it will be knocked away. North Texas not able to get on this board. One shot, one goal for Missouri S&T. The Miners, they had enough offense, at least in terms of their book. And now this entire game has been managing North Texas and the 7 shots they put on. We will see another one. Bernie tried to increase the shot total. It was blocked out in front of the box. North Texas looking to go the other way with Too Fast. Middle, D-Bank shot, and bouncer in top corner to tie.
Had to come sooner or later. The only thing the prevent defense ever prevented was winning. You cannot go into the shell against this North Texas squad. They will break through eventually. D-Bank does, and we're all tied up.
There's Sugar. Oh, maybe a chance time. Tries to get the follow-up. Bernie, can he get it? No, Too Fast. Goal line dive for the save.
Oh, so close as well. I mean, Missouri S&T is not going to get many great looks right in front of the North Texas net. If this turns into something like if North Texas could get a second goal, obviously that would help, but that would be probably too much for Missouri S&T to keep up with the way North Texas plays. Here's Time rushing back one-on-one with Lucia, and he just misplayed the ball.
And now,
Bernie, that was not great. Too Fast after another giveaway, and they're lucky that wasn't on target.
This is dangerous. North Texas are diving for the ball. They're going for everything. And sometimes that can be a double-edged sword. Right now, it's working for them. D-Bank's not going to be able to wrap around that, though. And Sugar will be able to get it at least into midfield. But for how long? No way. No way. It's in. Lucia dunking midfield. Pays off big.
Well, sometimes it's just not your night or season or calendar year or anything. That goes in. North Texas in front. And now Missouri S&T has to scramble. Less than 30 seconds. Lucia didn't get contact, though. There's an opportunity out of the corner. Bernie needs one more, and D-Bank is there instead. Demolition as Lucia and Time take each other out. Too Fast scores, and that's going to be game one.
Too Fast just going to run this one downfield. Lucia gets that demo that opens up a lane, and Sugar on the way back. He can't do anything. He tries to get a piece of it, only helps redirect it in. Missouri S&T survived most of this game off of one shot, but North Texas kept speeding up, and we see the result. We see it even now. They aren't stopping. Another one this time from D-Bank as he gets his second goal.
Yeah, now they're just picking apart Missouri S&T, just running up the score. You know, this ain't group play in the RLCS. I don't think the goal differential is going to matter a whole lot with the way these standings are playing out. But hey, score when you can. Why not? The other team doesn't want you to score. They can play some defense. Bernie, sky one up. Does Missouri S&T have one more up their sleeve? No, Too Fast. Not in the business of having fun tonight. North Texas easily take game one.
Strong fashion. I mean, it's just all based on possession. Missouri S&T couldn't get the ball out. You know, Bernie had one shot. He had he had two. All at Missouri S&T could output. And I think that's really the big tell of this game. North Texas came in, set the tone, dominated, and even though Missouri S&T had that one goal start, North Texas showed them how fragile it was, and they kept pushing. We go into game two. Missouri S&T, they got to do better on getting that ball out.
One lone unassisted goal very early on was the only offense Missouri S&T was able to muster. They got that one other shot out of Bernie, and that's it. A few that went well wide of the mark, but nothing that really threatened the defense of UNT. Bernie again. This time Lucia makes the save. Drop down for Sugar. Got almost by D-Bank. He barely made the save with just the edge of the side of his hitbox. And now Too Fast. Quickly up for that. Got a piece of Bernie's challenge. And now D-Bank tried to slow play Sugar. Missouri S&T had their offense. And now it's time for North Texas to take over. D-Bank. Corner again, and Time's there to stop him.
Ooh, Too Fast trying to get that follow-up touch. And Time will be able to sail that one in. And already everyone on Missouri S&T picking up a shot here in the first minute. Seems like they're spreading out a little bit more, but Too Fast does not care. Forces his way through for North Texas.
Sometimes you just wonder, how does this get through? And Too Fast, good first touch, follows it up. Sometimes they're just better. First minute belongs to North Texas. Kickoff important here for Missouri S&T. They've got to turn up the heat a little bit on the mean green. Here's an opportunity. Far down and away, out of harm's way. And that has to be crushing for the Miners. Still a lot of time to work with in this game, but you've got to convert the opportunities you get. And Bernie pushed that off to the corner.
Bernie could not get around and put a shot on, and when he needed to, Sugar tries, but D-Bank actually had to read there. Good work on the defense from North Texas. We are starting to see a little bit more of a pulse, though, for the offense from the Miners, as they are trying to get that equalizer, but a little too slow. And North Texas Sugar is in a very tough spot. He's 1v3 almost, and he actually does survive for the time being, but they won't get that chance too many times. And MS&T have to do a little bit better as North Texas are starting to control this one.
Time let that one get away from him a little bit. Trying to play the rebound, though, is Science and Tech, as D-Bank has that all the way across, but Sugar's waiting for it. Now Sugar and Bernie, I think they might have been trying to pinch. I don't know. The timing looked way off. It was either that or the comms were. D-Bank sends this away, and nobody else was there on the weak side. Numbers advantage, and the shot is wide.
This could be a chance, though, for a counterattack. I'm seeing Sugar move upfield, but that's a bad bounce. They're not going to be able to do much with it. Too fast to get right back on top of that. But a chance there for North Texas to extend their lead, and they let it slip a little bit from just a lack of accuracy.
Missouri Science and Tech coming into this 6-9 record, 4 matches behind. That means they are out of playoff contention, but they can play spoiler to a lot of teams, either playoff or top seed hopes. In the case of North Texas, got to be feeling very secure now. In fact, by now they have secured a spot in the playoffs. This will be downfield and easily blocked away. Bernie will try to start the counterattack again for Missouri S&T. Time back to Bernie, and it's right at too fast, so nothing doing there.
Good pass play. If it's a little bit closer to the net, then that might go in, but they were pretty far out. They were in midfield when the shot was taken, and that's enough time for Too Fast to get a good read on the play. Good idea for the Miners, but a little bit more work needed if they want to tie this game up.
Bernie got that to the back wall, but Sugar whiffed on the touch, goes after D-Bank, and missed him too. There goes D-Bank, getting a piece of that off of Bernie, but now Sugar, they're going to need one more touch, and Sugar and Bernie both went. Even time is up for this. Bernie trying to run interference even as a decoy, not working out for Missouri S&T. The desperation is there, but it's not enough to get past North Texas this time. Now another look. Sugar gonna need a lot of help coming up. It's time on the goal line. No way!
Oh,
that's pain.
Ooh, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. That was close. That was close, but shot off. And Missouri S&T, this one should be tied up, but 40 seconds left. And that one might have knocked the winds out of their sails. Another miss. Bernie trying to come up. Shot off. Sugar follow-up off. They can't buy a goal.
Oh, this is rough to watch. Hey, North Texas defense was not great on that exchange. And Missouri S&T comes up empty. Off the side for Sugar. Bernie racing downfield. Got a win over Too Fast. Tried to bump him out of the way, but Too Fast recovers. D-Bank, powerful clear downfield. And the Miners have to go all the way down to the blue half, and they cannot even get out of their half. North Texas on match point. They had to work for this one in game 2.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think they had to work at all. Missouri S&T kind of just, they had everything lined up for them. But when it came down to that,
they had to sweat at least. Because Missouri S&T, yeah, you mentioned they had their chances. They didn't convert. And North Texas kind of wiping their forehead a little bit like, all right, whew, easy win.
True. You know what's really interesting about this game compared to game number 1? North Texas win off of scoring 1 goal. The only person who put a shot on was Too Fast with 3 shots. No one else took shots at all. Meanwhile, Missouri S&T did the exact thing North Texas did, where they had all the offensive pressure, had, I want to say, 13 shots. It was definitely over 10, and they could not convert. Honestly, Missouri S&T probably should have walked away, and we should be going into DFH tied up. But it's that lack of accuracy and just a bunch of desperation in front of the North Texas box. And that's the reason why they end up escaping with that game too.
Ready for your stat of the series? Unofficially, officially brought to you by Psionics.
Hit me.
Shots are even in this series, 15 apiece. After Missouri S&T got 13 shots in that game.
Oh, goodness.
The goals and the wins are not equal. They are heavily in favor of North Texas. 1 win away from closing out the night on a sweep. But it is the last match of the night. The momentum was shifting a little bit for the Miners. Too Fast, trying to slowly work his way through the Miner defense. But now it's going to be time. Got around Lucia. What else can he do? He got past Too Fast as well. Sugar's there. Just very slowly making their way downfield, dangerously close to the net, and then Too Fast puts an end to all of it. Demolition on Sugar. Downfield is D-Bank, and North Texas denied the lead by the crossbar.
Good try, though, from D-Bank. Nice heads-up shot, but could not make it work. Meanwhile, on the defensive end, Too Fast actually stepped up. Not only did he get a solid challenge in that midfield, but he also saw Lucia wasn't going to get a good touch on the ball, took that quick initiative to get on top of it. But meanwhile, is that going to fall? It is! Missouri S&T with a 1-2 pass play.
How many goals has Bernie scored this season where he's just kind of around in the offensive third of the field, and the ball finds its way to him? It's just like, oh, I guess I'll just casually put this in the net. Missouri S&T have their second lead of this series. They scored first in game 1, and that was the only offense they had or anything resembling it. Lucia almost got that through, and Bernie saved it off the bar.
Wow, almost a play there to get the tying goal for North Texas, but still not enough. As this one gets knocked away, time looking for that low shot, and D-Bank. That's a big win straight down. Sugar is there. The Miners, we've seen them play like this before. You said game 1, their first lead, and the only lead they got, too, and the shots stopped coming out from them. Different game, different play styles. Going to help out as Sugar lines one up off the bar. Who's going to score? Anybody? Do they need an invitation? I don't know. There's just no follow-up on that touch, and it's going to be cleared away.
Too Fast over top of everybody, and North Texas races down the field, and it's just that quick.
That's a deadly transition. If you look it up in the dictionary, this play pops up. Ball did not hit the ground when North Texas was moving that upfield. Everyone involved, and a solid goal to tie.
D-Bank thought he had to go all the way up the wall for that ball, and the corner kind of threw him off. Sugar giving way to Time. Now Sugar will turn on that. Time still stuck on the goal line. He couldn't land on all fours. Now Sugar rushing in, but D-Bank beat him to the punch. Lucia's in a rough spot, but he's able to stop Bernie this time. This will kick out, though, and Sugar didn't get the shot he wanted, so it'll be not Too Fast. It's D-Bank. Too Fast to center. Lucia's lurking. Bernie let that drop to Sugar. That is not advisable in the future, but it works out for the Miners. They do get downfield. Time thought about turning on it, but he turned too late. And now Too Fast gets right by Bernie, and there's nobody else.
And you can see Too Fast is going to get an extra touch here. He kept boosting towards it. Bernie was just not ready. And he got caught out. Last man challenge. Lucia open net. Just like that, North Texas take the lead off of 2 transitions.
Unlucky at midfield, and now D-Bank maybe about to put the finishing touches on this for the Mean Green. Too Fast out of the corner. Lucia's there, and they're just slamming the back wall time and time again. This does get downfield, though. D-Bank in an awkward spot. This does go out to the left where Bernie's there, and he'll stay there. Again, the communication, though, is not great out of Missouri S&T. You see those double commits. Just a little too late calling off teammates. Lucia, though, put this in a dangerous spot, and Too Fast there to bail out everybody, as he's been so often for North Texas.
Bernie, trying to get that soft touch. They need a little bit more here, though, as the offense just still not enough here from Missouri S&T. There's the counter, and Sugar able to get the save, but they need to move the other way of the field stacks. Final minute approaching as Missouri S&T, the Miners, on match point. They got to get something soon.
D-Bank, air to ground. North Texas trying to kill off the final minute. D-Bank will keep this in. He's around Time. Sugar and Bernie at the net. Neither made the save. The crossbar came to the rescue instead, but they burned all their boosts, so now Bernie's got to play that across. And now Sugar got dunked on by D-Bank.
Wow. Lucia with that pop-up. Sugar thinks he can get a piece of it, but D-Bank has the read. Slam dunk as North Texas look to close this series out.
40 seconds remain. The Miners need a miracle. Get the ball going the right way. Bernie out to time, and Lucia read it the whole way. Sugar got clipped on his way through. Couldn't get around for the shot. Now time will keep the pressure on. The Miners have to if they're going to have a chance of getting their 7th win of the season. But Lucia's got the clear. North Texas are going to put a little bow on this one as Bernie will have to carry it across. The time is going to run out, you'd have to imagine, on Missouri S&T. Too Fast has already pre-jumped this, but it's D-Bank for Lucia. Nothing doing. Final seconds tick away, and with 4 seconds left, they got one back. And as we've seen off the kickoff, they've been pretty good.
They have. We're going to need to see that as well. Look at that extra effort. I like the demo that Sugar gets. Opens up a lane for Bernie. Will this kickoff work? We'll have to see.
4 seconds. Ball going away from time, and that little touch will not quite do it. So Missouri S&T will have a chance. It's a science and tech school. They got to be able to keep it up, right? Nope, they did not. Physics, not on their side. And North Texas get a clean sweep to close it out.
I'm surprised you can fit in that last line. I'm like, I got to just throw that out there. That was really surprising because you said that fast. But you are right. Missouri S&T weren't able to, be able to tie this one up. And honestly, this, as although it didn't go 5 game stacks, it was still kind of wild. Looking at all games this series, Missouri S&T with the first goal of the game, you start to think, okay, maybe there's something here. Then North Texas out pressure them. North Texas go into game number 2, and it's the reverse. They only put on a few shots, and Missouri S&T, all the pressure, they don't score. Then we get into this game 3, and honestly, I don't really know what happened in that game 3. That one was just, it was all over the place. But man, Miners just can't, it always feels like they're so close, but yet so far away.
North Texas only had 2 more shots than Missouri S&T in this series. Problem is they also had, 3, 4, 5 more goals. And those goals were all the difference, especially the ones they ran up at the end of game 1. That was the only, quote unquote blowout, but it was close for half of game 1. Ultimately, did not work out for Missouri S&T. So with that win, North Texas, and of course the desk will bring you through this all in a moment. But let's get the basics out of the way. They go to 12-1. Barring something absolutely catastrophic, I'm pretty sure they've clinched a playoff spot. I might have jumped the gun a little bit earlier. But at 12-1, they are in very good shape, not just for the playoffs, but also the number 1 seed in the West. Because they've got 2 matches above LSU, 2 above Arizona, and they still have, quick math, 5 matches left to play. You have to imagine that record is going to rival that of maybe Northwoods over in the East. That's, of course, for the desk to take you through. So why don't we send it back to F. Dot and the gang as they'll close out our show tonight.